There is a silence inside you, not the kind that fills an empty room, the kind that fills a conversation, the kind that appears just before you say what you truly feel and quietly convinces you not to. At first, it seems harmless. You stop yourself from saying one honest sentence. It's not worth it. Another day, you swallow your disappointment. Maybe I'm overreacting. Someone crosses a boundary. You smile anyway. You tell yourself you'll speak next time, but next time looks exactly like the last time. Strange, isn't it? The words you never say don't disappear. They simply find somewhere else to live. Sometimes they become resentment. Sometimes they become anxiety. Sometimes they become the exhausting feeling that no one really knows you. Not because people never listened, because they never heard the part you kept hiding. Silence has a strange reputation. People often mistake it for peace. But not all silence is peaceful. Some silence is crowded, filled with unfinished conversations, unasked questions, unspoken apologies, unexpressed anger, invisible grief, entire versions of yourself, waiting for permission to exist. The mind has a reason for this, long ago. Perhaps honesty led to rejection. Perhaps expressing emotion invited criticism. Perhaps speaking your truth created conflict. So the brain learned something simple. Silence keeps you safe. And once the brain believes something keeps you safe, it repeats it, even when the danger no longer exists. That's why you sometimes rehearse conversations that never happen. You imagine explaining yourself, defending yourself, finally saying everything you've held inside. Yet when the real moment arrives, the silence returns. Not because you have nothing to say, because an old pattern speaks before you do. Over time, the silence becomes so familiar that you stop noticing it. You begin introducing people to a quieter version of yourself, a version that agrees more than it believes, forgives faster than it heals, smiles before it understands how it actually feels. And eventually, people start describing you. You're so calm. You're so easygoing. Nothing seems to bother you. They aren't lying. They're simply describing the part of you they've been allowed to see. Think about that. How many relationships know your personality, but have never truly heard your voice? How many moments changed your life, not because of the words that were spoken, but because of the ones that remained inside you? Maybe silence isn't always the absence of sound. Maybe it's the absence of permission. Permission to disappoint. Permission to disagree. Permission to be misunderstood. Permission to be honest. Even when honesty feels uncomfortable. The strange part is, the words you've never said have continued shaping your life anyway. Not outside you, inside you. Every sentence left unfinished quietly becomes another conversation with yourself, until one question interrupts the silence. A question that asks, what if my voice isn't dangerous anymore? Notice what happens when that question appears. Nothing around you changes. The room stays the same. The people stay the same. Even the past stays exactly where it is. Only one thing changes. For the first time, silence stops feeling like protection and starts feeling like a choice. Maybe that's where self-awareness begins. Not when you finally find the perfect words, but when you notice how many of them you've been carrying all along. And perhaps the loudest part of your life has never been the words you spoke, but the silence you learned to keep.